Steve, you and I jumped into a game we got to see down at Summer Game Fest, and it caught our eye. It's a cute little puzzle game. The artist is actually the creator who did Braid, so the art style definitely is an inspiration. You can see it in Braid. Now move over here to Arranger, and it's a very unique puzzle game for furniture and mattress, and it is something I'm having a hard time scoring, Steve, to be honest. I think this is where I'm like, where are we? Here's where I'm at, 7.5. That's my score. I think there's something here, but I feel like there's still something missing. Where are you at with Arranger?
Do you know what? I was the same thoughts as you had. I was sort of jumping between 7 and 7.5, and I'm actually going with the 7.5. And exactly like you, because I do like the art style. Yeah. I do love the way the direction was going. There is a bit of a story, but like you, there was lacking something. I think for me was I love the way the puzzles work because it's a unique system of traveling on squares that actually move.
More or less,
and
right?
It moves with you in a grid system.
Yeah.
So I do like the idea of that new mechanic for puzzles.
Yeah, so here's what I wanted. I was getting into the game. The story comes up. You're Gemma. You're stuck in this village. You kind of want out. And you were more or less dropped on their doorstep. And now you're like, I don't feel like I belong here. I want to see the rest of the world. So you eventually venture out. And then there's some like pop culture kind of tidbits of information as you talk to other people. And then there's more like social media aspects of the story. But for me, the story, Steve, I couldn't wait to get through the dialogue so I can get back to the puzzles. Like, yes. That's the biggest draw for me, was the puzzle mechanic. Because as you do move around, sometimes you're moving parts with you. And yes. I was so impressed, so amazed at the fact that I would have to go into one building, take this piece out of the building, and then traverse all the way over to this other station over here, and then use that device or that sword or that item kind of thing, and then get it to solve the puzzle in another. I'm like, how did you think of that puzzle going from all the way over there to all the way over here, and then you have to move it and then come back at another point to then use this? Like, very, very cool mechanics when it comes to the puzzle. The puzzles were the highlight. Very challenging at some points where I'm like, Steve, where are you at? Because I need some help here, man. I'm like, I don't get this one. What am I missing? And then it's one of those light bulb moments, right? It's like, oh, that's what I was missing. I actually stepped away for probably, I finished it one night and I got stuck. I walked away. I came back the next day, boom, figured out the puzzle. And it was one of those, and then all of a sudden other items are introduced as you progress through. But dude, the story for me was boring. I don't know how you thought the story was played out for you, but for me, I could not get into the story at all. And I think that was the biggest disappointment for me.
Yeah, 100%. And it is, like you said, it's a text to talk as well. And some of the dialogue does go on for a little bit. I thought for me a little bit longer than what I really wanted it to. I wanted to sort of hurry up, tell me what the story's about, like you said, and then get on with the puzzles. I mean, there was not much explanation or tutorial about what you're supposed to do, because on one of the puzzles we have to unlock a door, I thought I already had the key after I'd done one of the challenges. So I was walking around, but it wouldn't let you through, but I didn't realize you actually have to move the key in front of you, move it through the grid system to get it in front of you to open the door. And then once I sorted that out, it's like, now I see where I'm going. So some of the puzzles, I would have liked a bit more explanation or a bit more tutorial on some of the things, because it does just throw you in the middle of nowhere. And I think that's where I was getting a little bit more frustrated, because I kept going through the map and I didn't know what I was supposed to do, because you do get a little bit of a quest thing, but it's not very detailed on what you're supposed to do.
No, not at all. You just hit the, you and I both played on PlayStation, and we hit the square button, and then it goes, it is like maybe 6 words of what you're supposed to do, right? It's just a brief description. Here's your objective, go do it. And you're okay. The thing I would have liked to have been able to do was have a camera system, because when you're stuck on the tile, I would have liked to have been able to maneuver my camera over or zoom out a little bit to see more. Mechanics, super simple. It is really just the directional pad and a button, and that is the extent of this game, right? And how you solve the puzzles for me. But there's a couple camera things like, if they had this camera thing, I think that would be a cool feature. The ability to maybe zoom out a little bit, and like you say, right, maybe a little bit more description and understanding. But it really comes down to the story. More or less let me down, and I had a hard time trying to get invested in the story. So all in all, Steve, I think you and I had a decent time. It's worth checking out, and this is kind of why we're both sitting at a 7.5. I think the game is cool, but it just didn't quite hit with the story.